We want to welcome all our viewers, and we are going to discuss the concept of well-being as a practice, as a professional opportunity for people who may be interested. And with me, I have the privilege to welcome Dr. Marius Potgieter here next to me. He is a well-being practitioner in Cullinan, and he also participates in the training programs. And Jan Potgieter is also a wellness practitioner in the vicinity of Centurion. And I've invited them to discuss with me the way they practice wellness from day to day. And I'm sure you'll be able to benefit from listening to what they have to share with us. So my friend, Dr. Potgieter, I'll start with you. Would you like to tell our viewers a little bit about your practice and what it entails?
Well, it started long ago when I was interested in healing, a healing lifestyle. I was then in a religious ministry in the church.
So you're a doctor of theology.
I've doctorate in theology, and also philosophy and counseling, different areas. And then I got trained into a natural healing, which actually combined what I felt is important, that the whole person is alive. It's a whole person that lives. It's not part of a person that's alive, all fit together in a unity. Philosophically, it's important for me to not take a human person apart. And to see it as a holistic unity. And in my spiritual work that I did, I taught people that faith is not something that's separate. Sunday is my day of my spiritual day. It doesn't work that way. The whole of life must be spiritual. The whole of life must be embedded in faith. I can't use it only for certain elements, but that also touches the whole of life. It touches all the areas of lifestyle, and that led into a better understanding of the holistic nature of wellness. And I became I had my training, and I became a natural healer, and later on also it changed to other aspects that was combined, and that's where I am today.
So you're a specialist wellness practitioner today.
Specialist wellness practitioner.
Still incorporating aspects of spirituality into your practice, but going beyond that, also bringing in clinical aspects, physical health care, counseling, and so on. So it's a much broader approach than just being a dominee.
In the last 20 years, that's my work that I do. I'm not longer part of a church denomination's work. I'm doing this as my calling.
So just for interest's sake, Dr. Potgieter, if there are some dominees or pastors listening to this broadcast, what would you tell them how to reconcile the wellness ministry to complement their spiritual ministry in the church? Is there scope for that?
Oh yeah, I think it's very important that we help the whole person. So I would really I would actually invite them to a broader concept and be trained in this way.
Draw more people.
Well, they can help people in a better way. I think that's what's necessary in our modern world, that we help people to cope with the whole situation, if anything. And you can't do that only with a few Bible verses. That's good, but it's not enough.
So it's a very interesting potential to think that the church can now also add a wellness ministry to the church, which is not in contradiction with the spiritual ministry, but broadens their offering to really be there for the members of the public, people who may be physically sick and emotionally upset, to come for help.
Because what we do is a basic the starting point of wellness, of health. It is health ministry in a broader sense. So long before you get to the professional work like a medical doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatric trained person, you get this broader primary health care, and you help a person on a much broader scale than just in one aspect alone.
So if there is a priest or a pastor or a dominee listening to us today, we want to take this opportunity to challenge you to think about a broader scope for your ministry. Think about, for instance, what we call having a little small green pharmacy or health shop at your church. Now you can also help Jan if he's got high blood pressure, to say, Jan, I'm going to recommend that you drink this herb, maybe hawthorn, that can help to normalize your blood pressure. Or you may have depression. I can recommend St. John's wort to increase the serotonin levels of your brain, to ease your depression, or whatever the problem may be. So you can go beyond prayer. You can also pray, but say, I'm going to pray for you, but I'm also going to intervene now on physical level. And that doesn't mean that the pastor now becomes a little doctor.
No.
Because it's not medical work. It's lifestyle support work to your members. And I really want to challenge those people listening to us, even if they're not pastors, they're Christians, to try and motivate their pastors at the church to begin such a ministry at the church, because there's a need for such a ministry.
Absolutely.
Where I move around in churches, I always make it a point to ask people in the pews, how are they feeling? And there are sitting many sick people out there while drinking medication, but they're living with chronic diseases. And now we are saying wellness can support people in healing them from chronic diseases and helping them to ease symptoms. So this is really something that could feed a ministry and meet a need in the church.
Absolutely.
Not only in the church, but all over, because people in today's world are not well. How do you find it? Are people well?
I would say I haven't come across one person that is well. Maybe in heaven. But
we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Until we get to that point, there's no person on earth that is 100% well. We all got something that is wrong in our soul or spirit or our body that sort of put a brake on the like a car. If you're going downhill and you put a brake on it, you can't get to maximum speed because you are hampered with things in your spirit or in your life, and that reflects right back into the body, and the person can be helped. 90%, I personally think even more, 95% of people can be helped in the basic, as you said, from church level or from basic ground level to become better.
Primary care.
Primary health care, not sophisticated medical as such. There's absolute place for that medicine. I mean, if I get into an accident, which I've been a few times, I need a guy who knows his job. I don't want a palooka to come and operate on me. And that's their strong point. They are trained for that purpose. We are trained to do the footwork, the grassroots, support work, to get the person support. And if we can't help him in that sense, then we must be bold enough to refer him to a specialist or to a medical professional and say, you need that person in your life. Otherwise, you're going to be sick.
So, Jan, if I hear you correctly, what you are saying to our viewers is that there is a specific job for a wellness practitioner in today's world.
Absolutely.
And secondly, that every person alive is potentially a client, because we're all in need of wellness enhancement. We need to have abundant life, live a quality life, or live a good life. And we don't always do that because we're sitting with stress and problems and depression and sickness and whatever chronic conditions. And there is hope if we go to wellness to overcome many of these challenges.
Yes, because I personally see it, thanks to the education that we got from Synergetica and Professor Harold, that drill into us like a sergeant major, that we must look at the whole person and that we don't work with a disease, we work with a person. We work with the total wellness of the person. And yes, we can help almost, I was second that, almost everybody.
So what Jan is saying, to repeat, is that if a person does not have a disease, was not diagnosed with a disease like diabetes or arthritis or cardiovascular condition or whatever, it doesn't mean that that person is well. And if you have a lingering illness or unwellness, then you at risk of developing some or other kind of ailment, isn't it?
Yes.
In the long run, disease is often the result or the product of not being well.
Correct. And if a person can detect that early enough, then they won't, the disease won't develop.
So it's preventative.
It's preventative what we do. So if we can, the other day I had a person who came for sinus. He said where he stay next to a highway, all that dust from the highway is killing him with his sinus. He can't breathe. So we scanned him, and I said, yes, I agree with you. Your sinuses are clogged up. But I said to him, do you know about your lingering heart problem? He said, well, he is a bit tired. He's not what he used to be 5 years ago, but he's not sick. He doesn't have a heart problem. And I said, but let's have a look at it. I think your heart needs attention. As you said, we can give him something to support that. And he went away and he was very pleased.
So you can help a person to compile a health profile to show certain weaknesses without diagnosing a disease. Just to
Yes.
look at overall weaknesses or a lack of well-being. You're talking about sinuses. We had an interesting situation. One of my colleagues also had somebody coming to him with a lingering chronic sinus condition, and he was screened, and it revealed that the person had a liver problem. So the sinuses were starting to drain to get rid of toxic substances, but it was actually a liver problem. So we could give that person milk thistle, which contains limerine, to increase the glutathione levels of the liver, to detoxify the liver, and then the sinus problem disappeared. So that is the holistic approach that we in wellness adopt, isn't it?
Correct. And that we pick up, I will almost say, with every person that we work, every client, you pick up other problems that they were not aware of, but that was actually like food chains or food blocks, walking with food chains without them knowing what is causing it.
So just to summarize, I want to say to our viewers that Jan and Dr. Marius are two practitioners, but we have about 2,000 practitioners countrywide who are registered as wellness practitioners at the professional body, and they are able and willing, and they are there to help people. If you have a problem or a family member with a disease or problem, an unwellness condition, you're welcome to contact our practitioners to see them, to help you. We're not saying that we have a silver or magic bullet that can cure any disease, but in terms of our scientific understanding of the way that wellness can help to overcome disease and enhance your well-being, we can surely assist people and support them in their journey towards healing.
Yeah, I believe it's very important that we see the basic problem as lifestyle problem. We live in a world that has a much different lifestyle than 50, 100 years ago. And I find so many people have a problem with stress. Well, there are different forms of stress, but let's talk about emotional stress. Well, I can't really handle stress of the busy city life. It's difficult for me. So I'm glad I'm a little bit out of the
That's
busy
why
life.
I stay on a farm.
I wish I was on a farm, yeah. But it's so important because that stress lowers the
resistance, yeah.
the resistance of the body, and then you get all the different problem areas that comes before, even COVID. The people that really get sick very heavily were very what do I want to say? and that has a very
Low
bad attack.
immune system.
Yeah. That's a lower immunity. So what we have to do is help a person build up the whole person, the whole body and mind and spirit, so that the person, that the effect of all these toxins and problem areas do not push it down, because then all the other diseases can start from there.
This is a very beautiful example. We want to say to our viewers, this is our typical situation where we hear the advice regarding the COVID situation, wear your face masks and wash your hands. But nobody is telling people
Yep.
what to do to enhance the immune system.
Immune system.
Correct.
We have
Yeah.
herbs like astragalus and so on that can really improve the immune system to give you better resistance
Yeah.
against the disease,
Mm.
and also deal with emotional problems that can affect your immune system. So this is where wellness comes in,
Mm.
where we can really work on a level that medical doctors are not working.
Well, they're not trained for that.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that's very important.
But you also, Dr. Marius, I know in your practice, when I walked in there, I saw a picture of the tree, and you using the tree as a metaphor
Yeah.
to explain to people the difference between a symptom and the cause of the disease. Maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit about that principle. I think it's very enlightening.
Yeah, it's called my tree. When people see it, they say, your tree. I say, yes. I tell people, if a person was a tree, the fruit will be how you feel. Do you feel well, or do you feel unwell? Have you pains? Have you got worries? All those things. And you can handle those fruit, those symptoms, but it won't heal you.
Mm.
So I'm not against symptomatic attention, and I think that's where medical doctors are very important. They must give attention to when there's a severe problem areas,
Go to the roots.
but they haven't got the time and the background to help with all the roots and the ground. The roots are actually who you are, your different personal experiences and your insight, your thought, word, life, all those things. And your ground is your environment, your home, your work, all those things that can affect you. And that's where we work. That's where I work. I work on the level of the roots. I ask the question, where does those symptoms come from? Where do they originate?
Mm.
Now, I can't give the answer.
Yeah.
So what I have to find out where are the systems or the organs that do not really work as they should. Where are the needs of this body? And if I fulfill those needs, giving the body what it needs, the body will help itself and will build itself up. But if I go against the body, it will break it down. And our lifestyle is most of the time breaking down the body.
Mm.
So at this point, to summarize for our viewers, what is important talking about the roots is really talking about the object of study in wellness.
Yeah.
If you look at medical science, the object of study is the physical body and the organs of the body.
Yeah.
It's an analytical approach. There is the liver, there is the pancreas, there is this, there is that. But in wellness, I would say that the object of study is not the physical body, neither the psyche or the mind,
Yeah.
but what I call a state of existence, the way you exist, your state of existence. And that is how your roots present itself. Because what you are in your roots, the way you assimilate those nutrients from the soil, that is the real you. And unless we can appeal to that situation, we won't be able to solve the problem. We're just doctoring the fruit. If the fruit is sour, we can add some sugar to the fruit to prevent it from being sour, but it will still keep on producing
Keep on.
sour fruits. But a good tree does not try and produce good fruits. It's just a natural outflow of what that tree is. So we work at the root system, which means if we can change your state of being, then you will produce good fruit, which will not be bad symptoms. So I
Yes.
think that is very profound, and that is really the difference principally between the biomedical model and the wellness model. It represents two different models. two different paradigms of thinking.
But
They both have
can
their
work
place
together.
to work together,
Yeah.
but they work on different levels.
Yeah.
So we're not saying don't go to the doctor. We welcome the doctors, they do good work, but we say you also may need a wellness practitioner to go to the root
That's
system
right.
and help you at the root level, at the basic core level, to deal with the real cause of the problem.
We can go and find the origin of the so-called disease. What is causing the body to react to a state with what we will call a disease? And if we go back to the roots and supplement the roots with what it needs, then the whole tree becomes healthy. It's not just that part. I go sometimes even to the mitochondria. For those people who understand where that is, there's a few trillion mitochondria in every cell. And I go to that and to have a look and see what is the real need. And from there we can feed the body, give the body the right nutrition, and suggest nutrition and suggest lifestyle changes that supplement the whole wellness of the person. And he become holistically healed in his all three dimensions, the body, the spirit, and the soul.
So if we can use this as a picture, Jan, it reminds me when we came to live on the farm 20 years ago, I had to contract a geologist in because I wanted to drill for water. And I didn't know where the break in the soil was, or in the rock was, that would yield water. So the geologist came, he set up his radiation machine, shooting his frequencies into the soil deep down to determine where there was a break in the rock that could carry water. So likewise, if we work with people, we cannot really probe the roots by looking at the person, by diagnosing symptoms. So you use a device that is also working on energy level, similar to that of the geologist, to read the energy profile of the person to tell you what is wrong at the root cause.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that kind of technology? It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting technology, not known to many people. The Russians developed the technology many years ago for their space agency people because they wanted to know what's going on with the astronaut when he is in space. They want to know how does the body react.
So they can't go up there and measure his blood pressure.
They can't measure anything. All they got is a spacesuit, and they developed these instruments and is built into the spacesuit, and from there to the onboard computers that's linked back to a base station with a radio link. And I use that technology that they now made available in the Western world for people who know where to get it. And it works very well because we read the energy patterns of every organ, every cell can be read, the energy patterns, the frequencies, and they determine what is a healthy frequency and what is a disease frequency. And that links, and I explain a lot of time to people, it's like a cell phone. If you go to America and you take your cell phone with you and you open up to be roaming, I can phone you wherever you are on this planet. And your phone will ring. Nobody else is around you will ring, only your phone. Because you got a specific word and a link to it to tell frequency-wise where you are. And the body works exactly the same. It's got a frequency and pathogens attached to that frequency, and that then gets transported or sent to the brain to analyze, and the brain must make a decision what to do with those frequencies and tell the body what to do with it. And we read that frequencies and analyze those frequencies. A very modern, new way of thinking about the human body. And it works in the quantum field as well. There's a lot of quantum energy. A person mustn't see quantum energy as something from a funny religion or that type of thing. It is a factual science.
Scientific.
So to summarize just briefly, sorry, Maurice, before we give you an opportunity, just remember what you wanted to say. To summarize what Jan is saying is very important for our viewers to understand that with well-being, we also use energy medicine as a screening modality. to read the energy. Those devices, state-of-the-art devices, are very sophisticated, but they're able to read the brain waves and determine the energy profile of the body. And as Jan explained, the liver, for instance, has a specific frequency if it's a normal liver. Once it deviates from that frequency, we know that the liver is sick. We can't now say it's liver cirrhosis or this or that. We only know the liver is under pressure now. And we need to work with the liver to give them herbal medicine and even to use frequency also to support the liver, isn't it?
Yes, that is where Dr. Raymond Drive came in 1929 already, when he determined the frequencies of pathogens. And he developed a device those days that if you find a pathogen in the body and you know the frequency of the pathogen, you can, what we now in military terms, they say we scramble the frequency. So or you can intensify the frequency.
Oh, that's what he does.
And he does, he intensifies the pathogen's own frequency to a state where it vibrates beyond its membrane strength and it bursts open. It's like blowing up a balloon and constantly blowing until it bursts.
So you can kill all the germs by
So
using
you kill,
frequency.
with frequency, you can kill the germ by giving him a specific frequency back to him. Give him his own medicine.
I want to add about this whole area, that screening to see where the basic areas of need is in the whole system is not necessarily a machine like that. It can be there are other ways. You just mentioned once a questionnaire.
Yes.
If it's a decent questionnaire and you discuss people, how do they feel, how do they, what do they dream, all those type of you can
Compile a health profile.
you can get a good idea where their health, where the health lacks, where the wellness lacks. People can feel good, but there are problem areas which can come out. Handling these machines, there's a problem about it, and that is that it's become so available nowadays that people sell these machines. They tell people, oh, it's so easy. You just put it on and you can make a lot of money from it. People will come to you and can tell them. And what happens is sometimes those people know nothing about what to do with what the information they get. And they tell people a lot of nonsense, and then the problem for us that are trained and we are certified as counselors, holistic counselors, health counselors, that we all get the blame if there are some people doing that and they talk a lot of nonsense. So I would really strictly ask our viewers to be very careful. If you get one of those machines, please try to get all the training needed to help that client. Yes. Just to say, well, the machine says this and this and this. The machine can't heal a person. It just can give you an idea. And those machines never tell you what the sickness is, as you said. We don't look for sicknesses or diseases. We look for the basic needs of the body. Where is there a need?
That's very important, that principle that Dr. Maris is mentioning, and that is the devices that we use, the screening devices, are helpful, but they're just helpful like the stethoscope of a doctor. If you take the doctor's stethoscope away, he'll put his ear against your chest to listen to your heart. So it's just a help. We don't so much rely on them as the alpha and omega. We can still make use of questionnaires and so on, and we don't use them to diagnose, in other words, to label or name a disease. We're just there to compile a health profile to say what the needs are. And also, we don't treat disease, because disease is actually the absence of health. So we don't want to treat a disease, we want to increase the health. Let me illustrate it by asking our viewers, what is depression? Depression is not something. In wellness perspective, depression is the absence of happiness. So why do I want to treat something that is nothing? Depression is not something. It's nothing. It's the absence of something, and that something is happiness. So I don't want to treat depression. I want to increase your health and happiness to overcome depression. Then the depression
Yeah.
will disappear.
Yeah.
So this is the principle, not treating disease, but enhancing well-being. That is where we work.
Can I come into that?
Sure.
I always tell the clients, say, we're not against medicine,
No.
but medicine can only alleviate the symptoms.
Mm.
It doesn't heal.
Mm.
So if you can combine that with the healing, with the growing of the wellness,
Yeah.
helping the body to help itself to enhance wellness,
Mm.
then you do it from both sides.
That's right.
You can handle the symptoms, but you can also build the body up. I tell my clients that I can't heal anything, but if we build up the body can heal itself.
So we can actually differentiate wellness from the biomedical model by simply stating that the biomedical model is a top-down
Yeah,
approach of authority.
that's right.
I'm the doctor, I'm going to tell you what pills to drink.
Yeah.
But wellness is a bottom-up approach
Yeah.
to help the body heal itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that, we might use counseling or prayer
Yeah.
or body therapies. We may even use herbal medicines. And those herbal medicines are not really medicines. Those remedies are actually tonics.
Mm.
The tonic is there to strengthen the body to heal itself. It's
Yeah,
not there to treat a symptom. And that is what people should understand, is that herbal medicines are not medicines, they are tonics.
Yeah.
To revitalize, to nourish, to provide nutrients to the body so that it can be triggered to heal itself, to activate that self-healing mechanism of the body to overcome the disease.
Yeah.
On that point, I would also emphasize that a lot of the so-called diseases are a lack of nutrition in the body. The
Sure.
person lack, for instance, vitamin B complex
Or even water.
or water.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a nice book written that say you're not sick, you're thirsty.
Yeah.
And it needs a lot of vitamins. And once you give the body the correct vitamins, it heals itself. The symptoms disappear. And the same with minerals.
But you know, Jan, the problem is that we as public, we are so conditioned that we think if we don't get medicines, we won't get well.
Mm.
If I'm sick
Yeah.
and you tell me, just drink your vitamins, I'll think, well, he's a quack. What is he telling me?
Mm.
Where's
Yeah.
the medicine? But actually those foods, as Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine. The vitamins will enhance your healing process.
It does.
Yeah, that's right. The vitamins and minerals and some amino acids. The body
Yeah.
might be in need of amino acids. And let's take a vitamin like D3.
Yeah. Most people lack vitamin D3.
Yeah, it's only
because they
70%.
don't walk around in the sun any longer.
Yeah, only 70% of the human race, well, in South Africa, is deficient of vitamin
And
D3.
also selenium, which is
The
important.
selenium, because
mineral.
our ground, most of South African soil doesn't have enough selenium
It's
in it.
depleted of zinc as well.
Yeah, and that creates symptoms in the body. Pure basic things that we can supplement to keep the
And
body
there are
up and
certain
going.
crucial sugars like mannose and galactose
Mhm.
that you only get from fruit that ripen on the vine.
Mhm.
So the fruits that we buy at the supermarket do not contain those
Yeah.
necessary ingredients,
Yeah,
and that is why we're lacking all the time. So now our bodies are so abused all the time. It's a wonder that, that we're not more sick.
yeah. Mentioning mannose, if a lot of people come to me and they got bladder infection, and that's because they don't have enough mannose in the body.
Mhm.
So if they eat ripe fruits, vine-ripened fruits, they won't get the disease. And now you've got to give him a supplement to keep up with what lacks in the body. And yes,
Yeah,
so
it's important.
What I tell my clients normally is that, except that very few cases of genetic problems, which comes from some genetic source, the reason why we get sick or is unwell, let me say unwell, two things: too much and too little.
Mm.
Too much negative thoughts, negative thought patterns, talking and negative things.
Especially in a political situation.
Yeah. Politics and all those
And
things.
stress.
They're supposed to be very negative. And that negative influences from the mind is powerful. As well as too much toxins. There's so much toxins in the world. I don't think there's anything that's without toxic contents. So if you can change that, take that as far as possible out by detox and watching what you do and eat, you've got not enough. Not enough what? Positive elements, positive thinking, positive lifestyle.
Minerals, vitamins.
Minerals, like, well, I think minerals is one of the basic building blocks of the system. We don't have that, what we need, as well as other nutrients. And that's why I tell people, I want to help you take things out and put things in. Those basic things.
Do some accounting.
Yeah, well, counseling is helping them to understand.
Yeah, balance the books.
I just want to say to our viewers at this point that what we're talking about now is based on science. It's not thumb-sucking.
Yeah.
Dr. Linus Pauling was the only person who won the Nobel Prize twice for chemistry in the work of orthomolecular medicine, coming from the Greek word orthos, which means correct, eating the correct kind of minerals and nutrients. And he proposed that most illnesses and diseases are caused by a lack of minerals. And, he was laughed at when he said, we are all deficient of vitamin C. Because our bodies cannot, like animals, produce vitamin C. So we need to eat more oranges and so on to be healthy. Now, if we tell people, eat your vitamins and you'll be healthy, they think it's too simple to be true. Where's the medicine? But it reminds me of what Dr. James Forleo said, and that is, health is simple, disease is complicated. To be healthy does not require complex medicines and stuff, only living a good, healthy lifestyle, and you'll be healthy. And that's not so easy to do.
Especially these days with the GMOs and all that. And we South Africans who like our braai, we put some spices on the
We
food.
don't eat real food.
And those spices contains MSG. And the MSG is
also poisons.
That's a very serious poison. It's a taste enhancer, but it's a poison. And we eat ourselves to death.
We're committing suicide over the long run.
Over the long run by what we put into our mouth.
What troubles me a lot is that if you listen to the automatic molecular people, that's got an organization across the world, they complain and say that all the scientific tests on vitamin C, for instance, just vanishes. You can't find them. And they say, well, they have got it, but it's kept away from the general public. It's kept away even from the medical doctors. They don't know about it. They say, but where are the scientific
evidence
basis for this? Because we don't see it, but it was taken away from them. Because why? Vitamin C is too cheap. It's too cheap.
You can't patent. You can't patent vitamin. You can't patent selenium. And I explained to a lot of people, if a bulldozer comes and he knocks this wall over here, a big hole in, and I see the rain is coming up, I got a choice. I can leave it and this place will be flooded, or I can rush out and find whatever I can get to close the gap in the wall. So I can find Coke bottles and I can find beer cans and whatever, and make a bit of mud out here and cover it. The storm will come and there won't be water inside. But next time when the storm comes, if I didn't do anything, there will be water and mud inside. And that is what sometimes happens with our body. There is a deficiency, and now we supplement it with the wrong stuff, with poison. And we then reap what we sow. Instead of fix it up afterwards with ordinary bricks and mortar and get it done properly, we take shortcuts in our life. And as you said, it's not that easy sometimes to eat the right way, to do the correct thing. And people don't want to go there. They want a pill. I saw that yesterday with a lady that is well over 200 kilogram in weight. And she said, can't I just get a pill to melt it away? I said, yes, the pill is on your plate. And that, it doesn't go off that easy.
Yeah.
So to summarize for our viewers, what we're saying is that the best medicine is not to be found in a pharmacy, but in the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not all supermarkets.
Not all supermarkets, but there where we can find fresh fruit and veggies.
Yeah.
And if you in need of healing, you can contact any of our wellness practitioners. They are qualified with accredited qualifications to assist you, to guide you, to coach you, to monitor you, to help you, to walk the road with you, the journey towards healing. We have about 2,000 members all over the country. Many of them practice wellness. As I've mentioned, Jan has got a degree in wellness and counseling, and so my colleague has got a doctorate in counseling as well as in wellness. So they're available, and there are many more in your vicinity maybe. But this market niche also affords the opportunity for people for job creation, because you can be trained to become a wellness counselor. As we've said, every and any person is a potential client, because we're all in need of well-being. So Jan, you make a full-time living out of your practice. Mars, you're making a living. People come to see you, you're asking consultation fees, and you charge them, and you provide them with herbal medicines and a profile and coaching and guidance and so on to help them towards healing. And you have success rates that you can mention to people. And we don't do anything funny. We don't throw the bones, even though we use herbal medicines. What we do is based on science, and we're complementing the work of the doctors. We're not working against the doctors, but our niche is that of wellness, not psychology, not medical science, but wellness. And we hope that this conversation helped you to understand the meaning of wellness better, and to challenge yourself to ask yourself, how well am I? Am I happy? Because this is what it's all about, living the good life, living a quality life. It reminds me of what Jesus said, I came to give you life, and life abundantly. If we don't have abundant life, we're not really existing. We're just merely there. So that is why Dr. Martin Seligman, who is the founder of positive psychology, uses the PERMA model, PERMA, which stands for positive emotions, and also engagement, and also relationships, meaning and accomplishment. If you can handle all those things in your life, you can find fulfillment. You can, what Maslow termed, reach actualization, really be fulfilled, find happiness and fulfillment and meaning in life, and that will help to keep you healthy and overcome disease, prevent illness from setting in your life. Gentlemen, is there something else that you would like to add? Thank you very much for your participation and your contribution. And people can reach you through our website if they want to make contact with you. And everything of the best with your practices. Be blessed.
Thank you. Thank you.